סייעתא דשמיא נעשה ונצליח. This year is going to be בזכות Rabbi Nissim Yagen ben Rachel. As we say that this dishurim is b'zchut him, is because of him. Impossible to have the shiur without him. His Torah, his holy Torah. Shiur is going to be Leilun Ishmat Eliezer Cohen ben Angela and Natan ben Zoya, and for Refuah Shlema Chaim Hillel ben Rivka, and also for Am Yisrael to do Tשובה Shlema בקרוב. Now we see in Shabbat, Shabbat is filled with tefillot, filled with prayers. Prayers is a very important part of the day. Now the men, they pray, they don't just pray, they go to pray in shul. They're obligated to pray, to go to shul to pray. There's the Sefer Torah, and a lot of things you do with the whole congregation. The Ramban comes and explains. He says, and he has his explanation in Shemot 13:16. He says, all mitzvot are very beloved and precious. Their purpose is that we should believe in our God, acknowledge that He created us, and thank Him for it. That's in essence the meaning of the mitzvot, the point of the mitzvot. He continues and he says, the Supreme One has no desire from mankind except that mankind acknowledge Hashem, who created him. The purpose of raising our voice in prayer, the purpose of synagogues, and the merit of public prayer is that the people should have a place where they gather and thank Hashem, who created them. Make this known and say before Him, we are your created beings. Meaning he's explaining that the whole entire thing, that the whole entire reason is for tefillot is that we come over to Him and we say, Hashem, we understand, we know you're the creator of everything. We know that there's nothing, there's no purpose, nothing except for you, except to understand that you're our creator, we praise you and everything. And it's even better whenever you do it in a congregation. Now, sometimes people take this idea of praying, we just explained how praying is very powerful. But some people take this idea of praying and they take it a little too far. What do? They make a very terrible mistake and they go and they drive to the shul on Shabbat. What's the problem? I live far, I want to drive. I can't walk. Why am I going to walk an hour to the shul? When I'm going to walk all this in cold weather? It's a problem. Why? Because on Shabbat you cannot drive. Shabbat's asur to drive. In Judaism, we don't have the end doesn't justify the means. We cannot say I'm going to steal and I'm going to give tzedakah, or I'm going to drive to shul because in the end I'm going to go to shul. So I'm going to break Shabbat, but I'm going to sanctify Shabbat. Unfortunately I spoke to someone one time and I said, I said nicely. I told him, I said, why do you drive on Shabbat? He says, he sat me down. He's like, as if like he sat me down, and he says, you know why I come? Because we have to say ketel to Hashem. In Musaf, we say a special tefillah. We say ketel itenu lecha. We say ketel, and we're praising Hashem. It's good, but we just said over here, it's very good, that tefillah. But so one doesn't say in the Torah to go to tefillah, make sure you say ketel. It says keep Shabbat. Whatever it is, keep Shabbat. So it's a mistake people make. It's absolutely asur to go drive on Shabbat to the shul, to wherever you want. Doesn't make a difference. It's not that you're going to the bar or whatever. You're going to shul, still asur. If you can't walk to the shul, just pray at home. It's not as good, but it's still better than breaking Shabbat. Whenever someone is thinking of buying a house, the first thing that should be on his mind is the distance to the shul. How far am I from the shul? How far am I going to be from the kehillah, from the community that I could go to? Imagine you have a nice house, you find a house, It's very nice. There's a lot of space. It's very big. Price is beautiful. It's an amazing house. There's a problem though. What's the problem? There's no bathroom. There's no bathroom in the whole house. Here's an outhouse. Maybe you go ask the neighbor. Who would buy such a house? So this is for goyim to say, oh, there's no bathroom. Okay, I'm not gonna buy the house. For us, for Yehudim, we have to say, there's no shul next to. I'm not buying the house. It could be the best house. I'm not buying the house unless I make the shul inside the house. But other than that, if I'm not making the shul inside the house, and the shul is going to be far from me, I'm going to have to consider driving or consider walking however long. It's not a good house. The amount of time it gets to the shul on Shabbat is the decision you're supposed to think about when buying a house. Now, Moshe Rabbeinu, he established reading the Torah every week on Shabbat. The Torah portion every week. Now, why are we reading the Torah every week? So, someone's going to say, okay, fine, to maybe have a weekly history class. No, chas v'shalom. The Zohar says that anybody that thinks that the Torah is a history book doesn't even deserve to live. Because the Torah is not a history book. It's not a history book. It's a way of life. It's Torah Chaim. It's Torah Chaim. The Torah of life. It's the only way to Olam Haba. The only way to heaven. The only way to the world to come. Without Torah, there's no world to come. The whole entire purpose of reading the Torah every week is to make us understand, make us feel that Hashem didn't just say it maybe a few thousand years ago. He's talking to me now. He's speaking to us and guiding us how to do everything every week. Every week we come, not even every week, every 3 days, because we have on Monday and we have on Sunday. But on Shabbat, we have the full parasha. The full parasha we have. So he's coming and speaking to us, and he's saying, if you go on my statutes, if you go on my way, meaning if you go on my way, good, get blessings, everything. But if you don't go on my way, all these problems, all these things, you're only going to make problems because of yourself. You're only going to bring problems upon yourself. Hashem gave us the free will, the free choice to choose whether to choose right or choose wrong. That's why whenever we get into a car on Shabbat, we're thinking of driving, maybe I should drive to the shul on Shabbat. We don't automatically die on the spot. Automatically we get inside the car, that's it. We chas v'shalom get a heart attack. That's the free will. Because if someone would, if it happens to one person, if someone's about to smoke a cigarette on Shabbat, he lights the cigarette, boom, his head blows up. People are going to say, oh wow, it's crazy. When another person lights a cigarette, boom, his head blows up. He said, you know what? That's it. No one's going to light a cigarette anymore on Shabbat. People are going to be afraid to move on Shabbat. I'm not moving. That takes away the free will. Obviously, everybody's going to keep Shabbat. So it's to understand but the reason to keep the Torah is because you want to do Hashem's will, not just because you want to stay alive. You don't want to be punished. Obviously, you have to. You have to understand that in the end, you don't do it. There's punishment. There's a reward and punishment. It's one of the 13 principles of faith that a Jew has to believe in. That if he does it, he's going to get rewarded. If he doesn't, he's going to get punished. But the main reason we have to do it is because Hashem said so. I want to do what Hashem wants. Hashem told me to do it. I know what's best for me because He created me. He's the manufacturer. He knows how and when, how everything goes. So reading the Torah makes us understand what Hashem wants. Always constantly aware of the commandments of Hashem. Now, speaking about the Amidah, about each prayer, it's very unique. Usually in the regular day, we have 3 tefillot, shacharit, mincha, and arvit. And usually the Amidah is the same for all of them. But on Shabbat, it's special. For every Amidah is different. For Avit, we have a passage over there that speaks about the Shabbat of Bereshit, the first ever Shabbat, which it says, this is the passage of Ata Kidashta. It says, you have sanctified the seventh day to your name. It was the purpose of making heaven and earth. You blessed it above all days, and you sanctified it above all times. So we see that Shabbat is the purpose of heaven and earth. It's the purpose of the whole creation. And Shabbat is not only Shabbat of the week. Shabbat is also Olam Haba. Shabbat is also the world to come. We see that the world to come is the purpose of this world. Olam Haba is the purpose of Olam Hazeh. We in Olam Hazeh to work, to sweat, to get Olam Haba. That's what we get from Arvit. Now in Shacharit we speak about the Shabbat that being given to the Jewish people. We read Yismach Moshe. It said, Moshe will rejoice with the gift that was his portion. For a faithful servant you called him, a crown of glory you placed upon his head, when he stood before you on Mount Sinai, and the 2 tablets of stone he brought down in his hand, and upon them it is written the commandment to keep the Shabbat. It's written on the these are the 2 Luchot Abrit, and on them it says to keep Shabbat. Now, there's a midrash in Shemot Rabbah that says that it brings a story about what happened, small episode of what happened with Paro and Moshe. That Moshe, one time, he was outside of the palace and he saw that the Yehudim were suffering day and night, every single day, not a moment of rest. And he couldn't take it. It was bothering him. He couldn't take it in his heart. He went to Paro and he said, Paro, if you have a slave work constantly, day and night, no breaks, you're going to lose them. You're going to lose your slaves unless you let them have a free day every week. You have to give them a small break. Even if someone wants to work out, he knows that he has to, many fitness experts will tell you, the most important part of the gaining the muscle is the rest. It's also very important to sleep whenever you're working out. Someone that has a very bad sleeping, he sleeps very bad, will not gain the maximum of what he could. If he gets his sleep into check, get the maximum that he can. But rest is very important for any type of benefit. If you don't rest, it's very bad. So he told Paro, he says, they have to rest. Paro said, you're right, I agree with you. And what did Moshe do? He took Shabbat, and he says, Shabbat will be the day that they rest. So, in Musaf is the additional prayer. We don't have Musaf in the weekday. Musaf is the additional prayer that we have, corresponding to the sacrifice that we brought on Shabbat. We will bring additional sacrifices once in a while on Chagim, and Shabbatot and Chagim, and these are the Korban Musaf. That's why we say another Tefillah. And we say over there, we say, Yismechu b'malchotach. They should rejoice in your kingship, those who preserve the Shabbat and call it a delight. Now, the whole purpose of the world is to show everybody, to reveal the Malchut Shamayim, the that Hashem's kingship. We're supposed to show everybody. We're supposed to show ourselves also, make it more in the world. But it's not just that we just do it and whatever. I'll just do it until I die and that's it. Suffer throughout my whole life. So I know that we accept it and then we're like always, I have to do it again, I have to do it again. We have to do it in rejoicing. As it says, Yismechu b'malchutach. We have to rejoice in His kingship. To rejoice in it. And be happy. Another mitzvah, another Shabbat. I finally have Shabbat. It comes again every week. Another Shabbat. In Mincha, we speak about the ultimate Shabbat. We speak about Olam Haba. Whenever the kingship of Hashem will be revealed, the Malchut Shamayim will be revealed, everybody will know. There will not be a question whether yes, no. There's no doubt. As it says in Zechariah 14:9, it says Hashem will be king over the whole earth on that day. Hashem will be one and His name one. And in Mincha, we say the passage of Ata Echad, V'Shimcha Echad, we say, you are one and your name is one. And who is like your people, Israel, a unique nation on earth, who you have given your people a day of Menucha and holiness, a Menucha of love and free will, a Menucha of truth and faith, a Menucha of peace and of serenity and security, a perfect Menucha with which you are pleased. Now, the reason why we didn't translate Menucha, we'll get to it. People make the mistake, whenever they think of Shabbat, you ask someone, what's Shabbat? So Shabbat is a day of rest. So what do you do on Shabbat? We rest. This is incorrect. People think that Shabbat is a day of taking naps, of taking rest. It's not true. It's taking rest of your weekday, of your mundane things, to focus more on spiritual. They say, what do you mean? It says in the Torah that Hashem rested on the seventh day. Say in Kiddush, Hashem rested on the seventh day. And even the Tefillot always mention Menucha, which usually, if you look at the translation, usually it says it's rest. It's usually translated to rest. But Be'emet, what does Menucha really mean? What does it really mean, Menucha? Does it really mean rest? Let's check. First time Menucha comes in the Torah is whenever Yaakov is blessing the tribes. He blesses the tribe of Yisachar. This is coming up in a few weeks. And it says, he saw the Menucha was good. He saw that Menucha was good. So he bent his shoulder to bear and became an indentured laborer. What does it mean he became an indentured laborer? I thought Menucha means rest. We're doing labor now. So obviously we see it doesn't mean rest. So what is Menucha? Which Menucha did he actually see? Midrash comes and says the Menucha that Yisachar saw was the good of the good that he saw was the Torah. It says that he saw that the Menucha was good. What do you mean good? Which good? What good? He saw that the good was Torah. Why? Because the Torah is called a good teaching. It says, Ki lekach tov natati lachem torati al ta'azovu. It says, lekach tov. It's good, it's tov. Which means that knowing Torah and learning Torah requires that someone is not just learning once in a while, learning when it feels like it. It's learning and being extremely intense in it, intense in studying it, hard, it hurts. I'm still learning. That's if someone wants to really acquire Torah, cannot just do it whenever it's comfortable for him. So Rashi comes and explains that Yisachar bent his shoulder to bear the heavy burden of the Torah, that he became the laborer to the Jewish people, that he was totally dedicated, that anything they needed, anytime, he was totally dedicated to them. That the tribe of Yisachar was dedicated to Am Yisrael, with halakha, with even teaching the leap years, what to do, how to do it, how to fix the year so that it matches correctly. Pesach is in the winter, and Sukkot is in the fall. So he knew how to. The tribe of Yisachar knew how to do this. We even see it in Divrei Yamim. We see it in Divrei Yamim 1, 12:32. We see their leaders numbered 200, and their brothers followed their pronouncement. Meaning their brothers, the other tribes, everybody took their halachot. Rashi explains it, and he said that Shevet Yisachar, the tribe of Yisachar, were 200 heads of Sanhedrin. They were, imagine the court, they were 200 heads of court. And their halakha was authoritative. Right away they said, this is the halakha, this is the way it is. So we see that from the whole thing with Yisachar, the menucha does not mean sleep. It means having spiritual delight, fulfillment, feeling spirituality. And this actually agrees with the words of what we say in Mincha, a menucha of love and free will, a menucha of truth and faith, a menucha of peace and serenity and security. A perfect menucha with which you are pleased. It's spiritual happiness, spiritual upliftment. So it's not, we see that it's not sleep. It's not, we don't get sleep from here. It's not sleep. But we see that Hashem gives us a nice gift, such a beautiful gift. What do? We sleep it away. We sleep the whole day. We wake up, oh, it's Arvit? No, it's past Arvit. What? Yeah, Shabbat is off. Already 2 hours. What? So understand, it's not sleep. And this is unfortunately how we see it. We go to sleep the whole entire day. But this is how we see it. This is how we see Olam Haba. Because Shabbat is going to be the Olam Haba. It's going to be the same. Shabbat is a taste of Olam Haba. If this is what we do on Shabbat, what are we going to do in Olam Haba? This is not Olam Haba. This is a nursing home. This is where old people sleep all day, and Shabbat, you're supposed to learn, you're supposed to grow spiritually, you're supposed to feel the spirituality, the menucha. And it's true that a little bit of sleep could be in Onik Shabbat. You sleep, you rest for a little while, you have a little bit more sleep than the week. Usually in the week you're going around, you're not thinking. Now you're resting, you're calm, so you could sleep for a little. Of course, we have to understand that it's a holy day. It's a lot more we can gain from just sleep than just sleeping. And also, not only that, what about our children? They go and they see Abba and Ima, we just finished the meal, let's say they're going to sleep for the rest of the day until they have to go to shul. They're going to be like, this is what Shabbat is. Now, even though all the tefillot on Shabbat are different, they still finish off with the same tefillah. It goes, Elokeinu ve'elokei avotenu v'tzeina b'menuchatenu. It goes, v'tzeina b'menuchatenu, be pleased with our menucha, Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and give us our share in your Torah. Sanctify us from your goodness, and gladden us with your deliverance. And purify our hearts, and serve you in truth. Blessed are you, Hashem, sanctifier of Shabbat. Now over here, in this tefillah, we ask Hashem, please, Hashem, help me be able to serve you correctly, properly, the way you want us to serve you, with kedusha, with holiness, and with pure of heart. We see it says, sanctify us through your mitzvot. Whenever we do a mitzvah correctly, obviously we will be rewarded. You have to understand this. We will be rewarded for every mitzvah we do correctly. We will bring a lot of blessing to ourselves. But there are even higher levels than just doing mitzvah correctly. We have to do it with pure motives, meaning you do it because Hashem said so. You do it simply because it's Hashem's will. And in this way, you're going to get more sanctity, more spirituality in what you do. In every mitzvah you do, you're going to get sanctified. That's why it says sanctify us through your mitzvot. The more mitzvot we do, the more sanctified we get. Purify our hearts, it says, to serve you in truth. Person is where his heart is, and also where his thought is. If these things, if his heart and his thoughts are pure, are in purity, then he becomes a pure person. He watches his eyes where he looks. He watches his mouth from saying things that you're not supposed to say, not saying lashon hara, not saying cursing all the time, not even saying things that are dvarim betelim, there's just no reason for it. Watching our eyes to make sure that we're not looking at the places that we shouldn't. Not only that, also waking up early, going to shacharit, putting on tefillin at the right time, saying Shema at the right time. And do whatever we have to do according to the Torah. And if a person truly wants to become holier, wants to become pure, he wants to reach the level of purity and holiness, then it will work. Hashem will see it, and Shina will make him such a holy person. He will feel the presence of the Shekhinah in anything he does. B'ezrat Hashem, we become pure and have our tefillot pure whenever we're praying, and we'll be able to come in front of Hashem Yitbarach, Melech Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the King of all kings.